Hello traders, welcome to this week's top-down analysis on the DXY, GBPUSD and EURUSD. And if you don't trade GBPUSD and EURUSD, but you trade any currency pair with the dollar, this analysis is for you. Because when you understand how the DXY moves, you will automatically understand how the dollar pairs will also move. So this analysis, it's for you also. Welcome to another video. On this analysis, you're going to start with the EURUSD and then GBPUSD and then the DXY, so that at least we can also help the other traders who have the dollar pairs as the currency pair, but not GBPUSD and EURUSD. These are just my best. I just love these currency pairs. Now, we will start with the top-down analysis from a higher time frame, which is the monthly. So for the EURUSD on a higher time frame, on a monthly time frame, I know it sounds big, but yes, we need to understand the direction of the market from a higher time frame. And sometimes it means monthly. And we have to do what we have to do to deliver and to get the direction of the market. So for this market right now, we're already on an uptrend because we had this low and then a high and then a previous low and then a new high. But there is something that was left behind that needs to be retested, which was these resistances here. So this market formed a very strong resistance previously, and the market never retested on a monthly time frame. And I'm insisting on a monthly time frame because the resistance was formed on a monthly time frame. And we always say if the market forms higher highs and higher lows, leaving a very key level behind which has not been retested, the market has to come to retest and then turn this resistance to a support so that we can proceed on buys. And that is what we're expecting this market to do. For some time, it maybe give us some doubts if it will really come back here, but at the moment I'm starting to have a positive vibe and a positive hope that this market will come back here, retest and proceed. And if it doesn't do that, it's okay. We don't run the market, we just respect what the market gives us. And in between that, we cannot wait until this market to reach here so that we take buys. No, in the meantime, we will take some trades in between so that we can trade as day traders or some swing traders within 2 and 3 days until this market reaches at our entry for buys. In the meantime, let's proceed on our weekly time frame. We see what the market is doing. So on our weekly time frame, the same remains. If you look at this market keenly, we had this low as our lower low. Let me take the path so that I elaborate well. This was a low and then a high and then a low and then a high, which is higher than all these. We had this low and then a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, okay. Somewhere here, the trend changed, which is okay. And then the trend continued and gave us a very nice high up there. And all of a sudden, the market again changed the trend. So the immediate trend right now, we are on a downtrend even on our weekly time frame, because the high that was formed previously was never higher than the previous one. And that closes the chapter that the uptrend is no longer moving. We are right now on our downtrend. And then right now, if you can look at what the market is doing, we have aggressive selling candles. And I usually say that candles always speak on what we need to expect in the market. Last week, the market closed very bearish. So what we might maybe expect sometime, maybe some very short pullback or even a continuation of the selling pressure up to these lows, okay? But in the meantime, let's proceed on our daily time frame so that we can see what we need to expect. So on our monthly, we're bearish. On our weekly, we're bearish. So let's see on our daily what we need to expect. So on our daily time frame, the same remains. We are on a bearish momentum because this was our low and then it formed a high, a low, okay? Let me use the path. So this was our lows, it formed a high, it formed a low, and then this market failed to give us a new high, which now gave us a low that was lower than the previous one. And then all of a sudden, the market broke below the previous low, giving us a new low. That already has changed the trend to a downtrend. And then we had a retracement to even our point of interest, which is 50 to 61%. And then, okay, giving us a lower high. And then previously, now on Friday, the market dropped and gave us a new low. So what should we expect if you already have a lower low already? So the only thing that we need to expect maybe is this market to pull back, give us a lower high, and then we proceed on sales. The first thing that you need to mark is the direction of the market. That should always be the first thing. Even before you mark your support and resistance, what is the direction of the market? And that is what we have to respect. So daily, monthly, and weekly, they all align. We are on a downtrend. But at the moment, if you look at this market very well on a daily time frame, we have these lows here, which I think they were already tapped. So this market at the moment, we are on a support level, a previous support level. Some people might call it a demand level. So what you might see in this coming week from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is maybe a very short pullback to just go to a point of interest where we might sell and then proceed lower. And also remember, we left here a very strong support level. Okay, this market formed a very good support level. So it's not a shock if you see this market pulling back to this support level, turn it to a resistance, and then we continue on sales. Or in other words, it can pull back to a point of interest and then drop. So let's proceed to 4 hours and conclude on what we need to expect. So on 4 hours, the same remains, okay? We are on a downtrend. And any market or any setup that forms whenever your top-down analysis from a higher time frame to a lower time frame aligns. If we're on a downtrend, we're on a downtrend. If you're on an uptrend, you're on an uptrend. Like this one, it has aligned from a monthly to even 4 hours to 1 hour that we are on a downtrend. Usually get an A plus setup. That means the setup is assured when it comes to the direction, unless you want to trade against the trend. But if you're trading towards the trend, it's so easy for you to get an A plus setup. So like this one here, maybe we just adjust a little and maybe do maybe the demand area down here. So the only thing that we might expect maybe just a little, when immediately the market opens, you might maybe see the market jumping above, okay, because we are used to see these things happening. Anytime you open the chart early in the morning at 1 a.m., you find the market jumping either on the upper side or on the lower side. And if it won't, it might first tap this resistance line here and then now proceed higher, give us a pullback, and then proceed lower now. But the trend of this market is on a downtrend. That you need to understand that. And anytime the market is on a downtrend, we need to concentrate on sales. Okay. The buys, I know some people might be tempted to take buys. Sometimes even me personally, I get tempted to like just trade against the trend. It's okay. But just trade knowing that you're trading against the trend. So your target should not be over exaggerated. Just target small pips and wait for a very nice drop and then drop. This is the support level that I was talking about, even on 4 hours time frame. And remember, 4 hours time frame is very strong. So the market formed a very strong support level, and this level was never retested. So you might see something like this market dropping very nice, like wherever it is, or maybe lower a little bit to that level, pulling back to those areas, and then maybe continue with the drop. So if someone wants to take that buy within the week, it's okay. But if you don't want to trade against the trend, you might wait for an entry for the sell and a very good confirmation, and then now we proceed lower. So for the Euro USD, I'm expecting a pullback for the beginning of the week, and maybe during Friday, Thursday there, or depending with the momentum of the week. You know, this pullback even can happen within a day. You never know. So depending with the pullback that this market might give us, you might my strong bias is on sales, just continuation of sales. But first, I'm expecting a pullback, and then now we continue with sales. Let's proceed to GBPUSD. Or we've already understood what we're expecting on Euro USD. But now on GBPUSD, this is a little bit different from what you're expecting on Euro USD. And you know that GBPUSD is always positive correlated with Euro USD. So whenever you see Euro USD selling, expect GBPUSD also to be selling, okay? Yes, but not always like exactly with the same number of pips and the same move, no. But at least you can get a direction of the other with the move of the other one, okay? Yes, so this one you can start maybe even if we start on a monthly, it's still okay. The market is very bearish, okay, according to the monthly candle for the previous month and also this month. But now this one is not as detailed as Euro USD. So for this one, we are trading not because maybe it's coming back for a retest at a specific level or wherever, no. But for this one now, we're trading according to what the market is giving us on our monthly time frame. On our monthly time frame, I don't have a lot to say because I don't have any pending level that needs to be retested. So maybe let's proceed to our weekly time frame. We see what this market is giving. On our weekly time frame, we have a very nice support trend line, which was tapped 1, 2, 3, and now previously last week, the third time. So for this market, if it will break this low here, this is our last low where my line is at the moment, where my horizontal ray is. If this market breaks below that line, on our weekly time frame, we would have changed the trend automatically because this was our last low, of which I can already see that this market changed the trend. This was our low, and then the market failed to give us another high from this resistance here. It failed to give us another high. And then right now, what I'm expecting is this market to give me a new low, lower than even the previous one, and we proceed lower. That is what I'm expecting on GBPUSD on our weekly time frame. But let's proceed first on a daily, because we have here very strong support level that we cannot ignore, and we will see it very well on our daily time frame. So on our daily time frame, the trend line remains okay. The trend line is very much respected. It was rejected several times. Every time the market reaches on that trend line, we got some very nice buys, again some very nice buys, and even on Friday the market was there on that trend line, but it never broke the trend line. It was just there. Okay, so let's see and let's analyze it and see what should we expect. So from this market, if this market will break these lows here, you see these lows, because let me elaborate better. The market always, if we are selling, the market has to move from lower lows to lower highs and lower lows to lower highs. So we were at a lower high, but at the moment the market is just somewhere here. We've not yet formed a new low, so we're just somewhere here. So there is a very high potential that this market will first continue with sales and then now proceed on pullback. You see how different this is from the Euro USD? Yes. So this was our previous lower high. A lower low that is supposed to be formed has not yet been formed. And if you can look very well, we have here a support level at this level, which the market has not yet even broken also. And then we have a support trend line, which the market has not yet broken also. So we cannot ignore those two levels, okay? I think we will see them well on 4 hours. So on GBPUSD, there is a potential of pullback, okay, from a 4 hours to 1 hour structure. Why? Because from a 4 hour structure, we have a support level which was left here, never retested. So there is a possibility this market will just pull back to these levels, retest those support levels, and then pull back lower. And also there is a possibility this market will come back. Let's not ignore this level, because it was more of a support level from that end to this end here. Okay, this market might just give us a very short pullback. Okay, maybe push here, give us a pullback there, and then first proceed lower, give us a new low. Okay, everything that I'm talking about right now on GBPUSD needs patience. Nothing is confirmed on GBPUSD at the moment, because we are also expecting that this market should break maybe should break below the trend line. And if it does, that will be a very nice opportunity for us, because it will already confirm a breakout on the trend line, maybe a retest and continuation of the sales from a weekly, daily, and 4 hours time frame. So for GBPUSD, I think I'll give it some time for it to confirm the move, because it's not yet as confirmed as EURUSD. So for GBPUSD, I'll give it some time for it to confirm, because there is a very high possibility this market will just drop up to this level and maybe give us a pullback and then now proceed. Or there is a possibility this market, let's move to daily, you see, there is a possibility this market will proceed lower, give us a new low, okay, and then now pull back, okay, and then now proceed lower. Like it continue to form the trend of the market nicely. I cannot conclude on what this market will do unless it gives me the direction nicely, because we've not yet formed a new low from this market. This was our last low, this one. So the market has to break below, pull back, giving us a lower high, and then drop, continue dropping. So we're just there. It has not yet confirmed anything, but at least we got out of this consolidation. So we already know that the trend is on a downtrend, but we still don't have a proper confirmation of a pullback or a continuation at the moment. But we still have a very nice week, Monday to Friday. It might confirm maybe within Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday. You never know. But at least if you have that confirmation of what am I waiting for, it will be easy for you just to wait for whatever, maybe a pullback, to take a sell, or whatever that the market will give us. But at the moment, I won't advise anyone to take a buy, because where are you taking a buy and where to? Okay, if the market had already given us a new low, at least I would say, okay, we can take a buy for a pullback and then now proceed lower. But at the moment, no, nothing has been confirmed on GBPUSD. Let's go to DXY now. Let's go to DXY. Now, the DXY is the one that will give us the direction, the general direction of whatever we've analyzed, the GBPUSD, the EURUSD, okay, and any other pair of the dollar. And generally, I'm excited with how DXY is moving, even on our weekly time frame. If you can look at the candles that were formed previously, they are very bullish. Okay, and we say if DXY is buying, GBP USD and Euro USD will be selling. USD CAD, USD, CHF, and so forth. You might expect them maybe buying also, but it depends with the currency pair that has been paired with the dollar. It does not mean that if DXY buys, USD CAD must buy or USD CHF must buy. No, it will depend with the strength of the CHF, and it will also depend with the strength of the CAD. Okay, that should be very important for you to understand. So for the DXY, I feel like these candles that has been forming were more of engulfing. So maybe the market is very bullish. But for this one now, the good structure is seen on a daily time frame, is where now we can see a very nice structure. We had a low at this level, we had a low at this level, and then a high that broke the previous highs here. So we've already changed the trend last week, I think last week, but not last week. Okay, and then a pullback. This pullback formed when this market gave us a more over sideways movement. So that was a nice pullback, and then a continuation on Friday that happened with the news. Okay, so at the moment for DXY, we are very bullish. And let me elaborate more on 4 hours so that you can see what we are talking about. So on 4 hours time frame, we've been waiting for this market to get out of this consolidation for the longest, I think for a whole week plus. Okay, this market has been just moving on a sideways movement, hitting a resistance, coming back and hitting a support, a resistance, a support, a resistance, a support. And last week it gave us a very good fake out, and I know most of traders fell on this, and I know they took a sell, but I think we did a very nice analysis, and we said that this was just a move to fill the gap that was formed previously. So we were not to take any sell. Instead, we were to wait to see what the market will do, if it will continue with sells or if it will proceed with buys. And I think sometimes patience pays, by the way. Not sometimes, it always pays, because you can see very well that it pulled back with buys and even broke out that resistance level. That means we've already formed a new high on this market. So what I might be expecting on this market, I have here a resistance level for daily and 4 hours market. Okay, so if we might open bullish because of how maybe we close the market, I might maybe expect this market to hit this resistance level and maybe give me a pullback and then proceed higher. And this pullback, there is a very high chance this market to pull back to these resistance levels here, because this level here was very, very strong. So pull back here, retest this resistance, and then now proceed higher. So there is a very high possibility for that. So a pull back to these highs and then proceed higher. But if it doesn't happen like that immediately, so you might see this market just pulling up a little bit, okay, because of how it closed very bullish up to that level, okay, and then now pull back and then now proceed higher. That is what I'm expecting in this market. But I usually say, don't ever exaggerate your pullback opportunities or your pullback targets. So if you get an opportunity of a sell in this market, okay, don't over exaggerate and maybe place your take profit up to these resistances. There is a very high possibility this market might not even touch here. We don't move the market, but at least if you trade towards the trend, the assurance of that trade to move towards your direction is always very high. So always focus on buys on a bullish market and sells on a bearish market. And I think that is basically what I'm expecting on DXY. I'm just expecting a pullback this coming week, maybe the beginning of the week, and then now continuation of buys. The market will never move on a straight line. So like here, we cannot just open the market and just continue buys, 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 buys without any pullback. I've never seen that. No, the market will automatically give you a pullback. It will move on a high, move on a higher low, move on another high, move on another higher low, and the trend continues. And that's why it's called a trend, not a straight line. So that's why I'm expecting a pullback on DXY. Let me know on the comment section. Have you done the analysis on the DXY, GBPUSD, and EURUSD, or any other currency pair with the dollar? And what are you expecting? Are you expecting what we are expecting on our end, like continuation of buys because the market is bullish? Or are you expecting a pullback, like we're expecting a pullback and then continuation of buys? What are you expecting? Is your analysis the same as ours? And if these analyses are very important to you, and you usually get some very nice moves from these markets, you can also share with other traders. Click the share button, share the link to your stories, Instagram stories, TikTok, and wherever. Share this to other traders, okay? It's not a secret that you're keeping. This money is not ours. We can make it and still Aisha, okay? Yes. So don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe, and see you on another video. Thank you for watching.